I saw this the other day and I just thought it would be perfect for my new Mordheim board. We're gonna try to make what might be the biggest thing I've ever made for Mordheim. Let's get started. To start out this project, I provided you guys a template you can grab on Patreon for free. Patrons got this early. I like to make this stuff free so that there's no barrier of entry. If you want to build this, you could do it now. This building doesn't need a template though. So it's gonna be 9 inches wide and 10 inches tall, and the gateway in the middle is 6 inches tall. So this is the general shape. I added some buttresses to the bottom in front of this fortress. I actually really like the proportions of this. After that, I quickly just kind of glued all this together, and then I did another one and kind of boxed out the basic shapes for the rest of this build. To make this look like it's a solid piece, I'm going to use some foam core, cut it into a strip. With a texture roller, I'm just going to roll that across with really heavy pressure to make sure that the texture is really in there. After that, you just glue it in with hot glue. I don't typically start a project and have a perfectly formed idea of how something is going to end out. And I say that to comfort you. Sometimes you got to trust the process and hope that it works out. I know that I want some structures on top of here, so I'm just gonna use some of the offcut from the arch and cut out some steps, roof lines that I've seen from references that I like, and just see where that takes me. After that, I cut out some buttresses to hold up some structures that are gonna be overhanging the sides of the archway. When you have different levels that overhang and overlap others, it helps the board feel like it's bigger. After that, I started putting down some popsicle sticks for wood flooring, kind of finish off making this look like a solid piece. And then I go into texturing. Texturing is the most important part, and the biggest texture here is stonework. Start off with a rock and really go hard on the textures that you're placing in here, because we're going to be punching in the bricks with an old paintbrush handle. This paintbrush handle has been crimped into a rectangle, and to get a variable of shape, you can punch in with different angles, and you can also turn it 180 degrees so that it gives a bit of a variety. Even if you use the same side of the... Now, we have a lot of texturing ahead of us. So it's the same exact method, and you just do it everywhere. While I'm finishing off the rest of this, I'd like to ask you to leave a comment and a like. It goes a long way to make sure that this video goes to new people. Only like 40% of people subscribe and stay, and I have a feeling that's because YouTube doesn't recommend my channel more than once. So if you want to make sure you stay tuned for the rest of this board build, subscribe. All right, back to the video. So now I'm making it playable. I added some stone stairways and a doorway on the side of it to act as a way up, and then I put some ladder rungs in between the grout lines to make a way up to this platform that I put here. I'm going to carve out some of the battlements here to kind of blend it into the structure. I cut the bottom at a 45-degree angle, and then to act as kind of arrow slits on either side of the battlement, I cut that as an inner 45-degree angle to get the archer behind it a wide field of view. To make a turret, I glued a bunch of popsicle sticks vertically onto a piece of paper, and then I wrapped it around this cone that I found at the dollar store. These were at the top of some Halloween fence decorations. To make this look really janky, I started gluing in some planks as kind of improvised supports. Maybe these buttresses had fallen off. Now I'm going to finish off the structure up top. I'm using foam core for this, and the template for these are also included. So I have free STLs where you can 3D print these windows, but I have some molds of the original Mordheim windows, and I'm going to be using resin castings of those in this video. You can do it both ways, obviously, but I just wanted to show a different method for those of you who don't have a 3D printer. You can also scratch build these too if you want. So when I start to cast something, I overmix my resin, pull out a bunch of molds, and just cast a bunch of things. These building accessories are great. They kind of steal the show, and it allows you to kind of make some mistakes, and most of it will kind of fade in the background of these little intricate details.
While I'm at it, I'm going to thank my patrons. Thank you guys so much. Your support goes a long way to make these projects as great as they are. Patrons get early access to STL packs that I'm developing, and they also get behind the scenes photos of stuff that I'm working on, and they give feedback and ideas on the things that I'm going to be doing in the future. So if you're interested in that, it's only $2 a month. If not, just subscribe and watch along with everyone else. I really appreciate it. All right, back to the video. I wanted this to look like a wood planked building. So I'm taking popsicle sticks and I'm trimming off the edge to kind of make it uneven on both sides. And I'm just piecing these all together. There's no real rhyme or reason to this. I'm just kind of doing what I think looks good. I add gargoyles to the tops of each peak. This lion one is just a head from a dollar store that I put onto a tombstone from Reaper Miniatures. So it's nothing special, and you could do that yourself at home. So I glue in these wood planks with white glue, and I kind of use a lot to make sure that it sticks real well. Soak up the rest of it. I soak the rest up with sand. That way it all kind of wicks up into something and then it glues faster. I use 5mm zigzag scissors and self-adhesive cork to do all the shingles. The self-adhesive cork is really great because you can just peel and stick it. And then during the Mod Podge step, that's going to make sure that everything will be glued permanently together. This time around, instead of using Mod Podge, I got a big jug of PVA glue and I just mixed in black paint with that. And I painted over everything. After painting everything black, I went over it again with some dark brown spray paint to make sure that the hot glue parts are primed, and I painted everything with a tan because I want to go for like a limestone, yellowy tan stone color because it takes washes super well. And I did it a couple weeks ago, and I really liked the result of it. It complements with the wood tones that I'm going to be doing a light blue. I like this wood to look really dried, dead. With a fan brush, I use brown, white, and a really light cyan blue. I mix it up roughly, and then I just kind of streak the brush over the popsicle sticks. That way the color isn't completely mixed together, and there's some color tonal differences. I'm painting the inside of this building red to kind of look like an open wound. This building has been torn apart, and one of my other buildings that I've made, I put in red wallpaper, and I kind of wanted to do a similar effect here too. After that, it was ready for wash. I mixed up some brown and some black with some water and just went crazy with this black wash, and it looked really good afterwards. I also had a rag for if it went on too dark, I was able to dab it off, and to kind of fill in some of those grout lines that might have been filled in with paint too. That's basically it. So I hope you enjoy this build and this video. Let me know what you think. If you build one, tag me on Instagram. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you want. If you have a question about any part of this process, I answer every single one. So ask away in the comments. All right, have a good one.